There was a time in my business where I felt a huge call to change. I felt, I'm explaining to you what it felt like because I think it will validate a lot of people who are really big in what they do. Because when you are someone who is very intuitive, prophetic, you're a thought leader, your up levels typically come from feeling some resistance. They come from feeling emotions. They come from feeling discontentment. Like you just don't feel like yourself. And I remember as I'm prepping right now for your multi-million dollar a year program and talking about what the key differences are and how to have a multi-million dollar a year. I'm going to be talking about brand positioning and inside of this training program, brand positioning, selling offers, creating buying experiences for people. And it was a really interesting time for me because I had just had my first $1 million cash year and I was so proud of myself. It was awesome, but I felt like uncomfortable. I felt like I can do more than this. And it showed up in little ways. I remember I would look at some content on the internet when I would, and it would be content that I just would consume it and think, this is not good. Or I would consume it and think, like, there's so much more powerful things that women can be saying. Like, are these even innovative thoughts? Are these new thoughts? Or are these thoughts that you're having, other people's content they're making, are they only as a response to consuming other people's stuff? And I just remember feeling like I don't belong here, and I think that that's a very common thing behind women that build movements and women that are super iconic in the marketplace, is that they feel like I don't belong, and then so they create their own thing. And that's why Freedom Queen exists to this day. It's the whole point is creating a new space in your own unique methodology where women feel like they belong, because you maybe never fit in wherever you were. Like, I know I never fit in any kind of group as a kid. Like, I could fit in with every single type of person growing up, and I never felt like I belonged. I constantly felt, and to this day, sometimes I find myself in rooms where I'm like, yeah, this is not my tribe. Like, this is not it. And I remember feeling that when I was transitioning to my first multi-million dollar year internally. And it felt like a lot of, again, uncomfortableness. When I would look at content online, I would just think, meh. Like, I don't want to talk about that. I felt like I wanted to bring in new ideas into the brand, but at the same time felt like, will people understand it? Well, if I bring this forward, what I've known has worked so well before. This is the 10X is Easier Than 2X book by Ben Hardy. Ben Hardy came and spoke at a mastermind I was in a couple of years ago, and it was so good. And that's the same concept, right? Like, what had gotten me to my first $1 million year, I had very quickly realized was not going to get me to my first multi-million dollar cash year. And that was big. I started realizing that, and I was like, okay, then we have to change these things, because I didn't want to build a business that was just based off of money. You can build a business just off of money and like sell your soul and not like your work. To me, business is art. It is a transaction that creates a transformation. And I've always loved business. I've always loved creating things and then delivering it to customers and seeing their faces light up. Like, to me, business goes beyond the paycheck. It goes beyond the number, which is why I believe, and I've seen over the last 4 going on 5 years now, like, that's why Freedom Queen exists the way it does, is because I really love the artistry of it. I love the creativity of business and creation process and innovation. That's a whole other podcast episode that needs to be dropped. But I started to realize that. And I know some people don't do that, and some people kind of just stay teaching the same things forever and ever, and that's fine. Like, they're known as, they're a mindset coach, or they are a health coach, or they are a business coach. And to me, I've always been interested in building trademarked, unique companies that are movements that are unique, right? Like they're an actual company. They're not a subset category of another brand. They're something that they're creating on its own. Like it's a sellable asset. Oh, Freedom Queen. Wow, what's that? I would love to be a part of that. So I was just at a mastermind actually with all these incredible entrepreneurs. I mean, everyone in there was doing like 100 million minimum. It was crazy in multiple businesses. And I was one of the smallest people in there. But as I was talking to them, they're like, oh my gosh, Freedom Queen, that's so cool. And they're like, wow. I was telling one guy about my business model. I was telling him about the VIP weekends I do with clients. He is actually Alex Hermosi's competitor. He was a very cool guy. We became friends with him and his wife. And he was like, your business is amazing. You have a great business. I'm like, yes, Freedom Queen is awesome. It's so cool. But anyway, so the point of all of this is that I felt discontent. I felt like, there's so much more that I am. I want to bring more to the table than just like I vividly remember saying to myself, I cannot make I cannot put together a carousel that's like how to post or how to do X, how to do Y. And so I started speaking up about it and I started making content around it and I started talking about it. And I was like, does anyone else you don't have to do this. And rather than looking for validation from people, which is what a lot of people do, what I did is I pioneered it. So I went first. I always say movement makers go first. I go first. I went first and I said, I'm done with the strategy conversation. That is so cool and great and all. But I know that these high level people, the people that are looking for my 45K packages, 50K, 100K packages, they want to talk about energetics. They want to talk about, they've mastered the strategy of all strategies. They've done every strategy. They all work. They now want to have these deeper level conversations that are more around energy and mindset and who they're being. And so I started bringing this forward. And of course, I started selling out all my premium offers, which is something I'm going deep on inside of the Your Multi-Million-Dollar a Year training. We'll link it below in the show notes if you want to access that. It's $27. And it's an amazing it's like probably one of the best of the best of the best. I did a challenge a couple months ago, about 3 months ago, and it was great. This one's even better. It's like I just keep building upon this work and refining it and making it better. Anyways, okay. So the whole point of this is if you've been feeling this discontentment or you've been feeling this uncomfortableness or you've been feeling in your mind, like I think a lot of successful entrepreneurs feel insane in their head, but it's actually because you're a genius. There have been so many times where I have felt like insane, crazy. Robbie and I, we always talk about being hypomanic. It's like, are you insane or are you just a genius? Do you have those feelings or are you just super intuitive? Do you know when something needs to be changed and you're actually just resisting it and you should let yourself evolve so you can get paid more and grow and love your work even more? Like, come on. You know, that real conversation is what allows people to grow and make more money and be more fulfilled. You're not insane. You're just going through an up level. And I know this because I've experienced it so many times where I've thought, is there something wrong? Like, what I've done worked so well, but I know I want to change. I know I want to do something different, right? You know that what you want to do is not necessarily what you're currently creating, but what you've done has worked. And so you have to abandon the other process to find something new. And I invite you to let yourself evolve into the greatest version of yourself. I invite you to ditch the things that no longer serve you, that drain you. I invite you that just because of one type of content that you used to make was the thing that lit your soul on fire back then and got so much engagement, it's not the thing anymore. I think of my content right now at the time of recording this. I love my content. It gets so much engagement because I let myself evolve. Because I let myself go to the next level. That's why. I don't like let myself sit and stuck in offers. Oh my goodness, in 2025, we're going to hit our first 8 figures. And you know why? Because of creativity. I have dropped so many new offers this year and they are selling like hotcakes. They are selling like hotcakes because I let myself evolve. I decided I don't want to sell the same offers that I've been selling. And so I change and I evolve and I do different things and I tell the story. I live to tell the day of the time where I dropped all these new, incredible, amazing offers and now everyone is buying them. And so, Freedom Queen, my intent for this audio is that you feel validated. You're like, okay, wait, I'm not insane. There's nothing wrong with you. Actually, you're right on time. You're right on track. Your intuition is correct. You feel weird because you're actually about to go through the biggest up level of your freaking life. You're not out of your mind. These thoughts that you're having are not abnormal. Like, you're doing the right thing, but don't let yourself get off your pathway of your greatness. Staying on your pathway is the key to unlocking so many new levels. But people get off their pathway, and they get off their pathway by doing things they don't even want to be doing. By making the old content that worked, that got them in the engagement, that made them some money, but then they lost their soul. Don't do that. I've seen people do that. Stay on the pathway, which is your unique greatness. When you feel that pull inside to change and evolve, like lead, follow, run, dance, like go down that pathway, because something beautiful is going to awaken for you on the other side of that. Freedom Queen, Freedom Queen, Freedom Queen. I am so excited. Like, what I feel right now, I've never felt before. I'm so excited for you, for me, for everyone inside of Freedom Queen, for all of the Freedom Queens that are about to become Freedom Queens, for everything. And I'm really excited for Freedom Queen Live 2025, because same thing as what I'm explaining inside of this training here, our Freedom Queen podcast audio, it's the same thing that I'm doing for Freedom Queen Live. Like, I evolve. Everything is getting an up level with Freedom Queen Live, and I'm so excited for it. So I love you. If you got value from this, it would mean the world to me if you shared this with a client, a friend. So many of my clients, I love them so much. They're just absolute ballers. They're like, I just told my clients to go buy your course on this topic because they need it. I'm like, what? That is amazing. And I do the same. I recommend my clients and other people all the time. I'm like, go follow this person because she's amazing. This person. Like, go find their work because they are awesome. And Freedom Queen, I will see you in the next one.